The dream of every archaeologist is to make a find that changes the way we think about history. Something ancient, unexpected, and marvelous. While most archaeology isn't as exciting as it's portrayed in movies, some of it is. These archaeological discoveries were all truly incredible. Many of them pose mysteries that remain unsolved. For starters, this claw, found in 1986 in a cave on New Zealand's Mount Owen, was puzzling to people. Was it the discarded claw of some unknown monster? No, it turned out to be a very well-preserved upland moa claw. The upland moa was an enormous prehistoric bird. The Pilate Stone. This find seems to corroborate the story of Pontius Pilate as a real, living person. The Pilate Stone was discovered in Judea, in the Caesarea region. The stone, which was likely used as a staircase in an ancient Roman theatre, bears an inscription that roughly translates as to the divine Augusti this Tiberium. Pontius Pilate, prefect of Judea, has dedicated this. Hagar Qim. The Hagar-Kim is a group of freestanding structures that was built about 1,000 years before the Egyptian pyramids. They also predate Stonehenge. Hagar-Kim was found in the early 1800s. Roman dodecahedrons. The Romans were fond of metal dodecahedron sculptures, and nobody knows why. The sculptures, all 12-sided and hexagonal, are found throughout the ancient Roman Empire. It is totally unclear what their purpose was. Some think they were used to measure distance, others think they were candle holders or simply decorative. Galilee boat. This boat was found in the Sea of Galilee by two brothers, Moshe and Yuval Lufan, during a drought that dropped water levels. The boat was dated back to the 1st century AD, and would have been typical of the kind of boat used during the time of Jesus. The boat was 27 feet long and 7.5 feet long. Researchers kept it in a chemical bath for 7 years to mitigate any further decomposition. It's now displayed at the Yugal Alon Museum in Kibbutz Genosar. Markei Weisai. Markei Weisai is a controversial archaeological find. Depending on who you ask, it's either a series of stone carvings meant to look like human faces, or it's a series of rocks that have eroded naturally and our brains interpret incorrectly as artifice. The figures were discovered in 1952 by Daniel Russo, who made various specious claims about how the site was selected by ancient peoples as a place to preserve human knowledge through cycles of extinction. Dorset Vikings. Workers on a railroad in Dorset discovered this mass grave of ancient Viking warriors. The Vikings were all beheaded. Researchers at first thought that the grave was the result of a raid, but the beheadings were too clean to have been weathered in combat, and were done from the front, which was atypical. We still don't know what happened. The Copper Scroll. Of all the Dead Sea Scrolls uncovered, the Copper Scroll is perhaps the most impressive. It is also like an artifact out of a kid's action-adventure movie. The scroll describes a huge stockpile of gold and silver, but doesn't give any clues as to where it can be found. Archaeologists generally agree that the scroll was made around 70 AD. Mysterious Sword. This medieval sword was fished out of the River Witham in 1825. It bears a mysterious inscription that has, to this day, defied decryption. The British Library has appealed to the public for help in solving the mystery. The sword would have been used by a knight, and was likely made in Germany.